I didn't do the work during the last year on my own. I have to acknowledge the help of two other investigators, Edward Coakley, and discussions with Gerd, and among the three of us was very helpful. I had two very willing consultants who were answering my emails and taking phone calls from me throughout these 2 years very efficiently, Monica Ardelt and Jim Garrison. And we had two enthusiastic German students who are the best students I've ever had. I mean, yeah, from many ways of thinking, Eric and Dafina. So I am presenting first the main idea and questions to remind you what the whole work was about, and then talk a little bit about what we have now and where we stand and eventually where we're going with this. The main question and the main idea we started with was, so how wise decision making can come from heuristics, the way we know heuristic at ABC, which is fast and frugal heuristics. So the idea is that we say that simple heuristics are both fast and frugal. Is practical wisdom, is a wise strategy also fast and frugal? And so we focused in our work on frugality because it seemed so intuitive and good and maybe easy to confirm to us. And the fast part, I'm so happy that time came up today so many times, is still completely in the air. The other question that emerged, and it is the other line of the work, not so much what heuristics do, is, so I look at wisdom, and there is always a theory, and theory has comforting assumptions that makes it so convenient for us to just assume that this and that are all the same thing. It's a wholesome. And then when I go to the lab, or I think about myself, and or I look at wise practical actions, I just can't see that theoretical comfort, and that bothers me. So it brought me to the point where I actually proposed the topic for our small group discussion. So I will talk about this part, how theoretical and practical wisdom relate to each other this afternoon with all the contributions we had from our small group. What we did in the labs was to see if we can bring together sort of what Judith is doing in maybe a different way or from a different angle, different methodologies and empirical methods that are aimed at measuring wisdom and then providing wise action. And one thing that we did was to actually look at the construct of wisdom, how reliable it is, and what does it add to our empirical understanding in a factual manner, as opposed to what we already knew and had or was there in the literature of intelligence. And in order to do that, what did I just do? Okay. So our findings come from what we did in our lab, which is designing an environment and then allowing people to make decisions in, of course, situations that we are just creating there. And then gradually, we change the quality of the cues. And we design it in such a way that wiser agents, wiser subjects in our lab would actually be led to use less and less information. And we wanted to see if this actually happens. So how much depth of information does a wise decision need in response to the construct of the situation and environment? And the result was highly satisfying. We love our results, but we were able, so our contribution basically in one sentence is, we were able to document that wiser is many times more frugal, and that this does not, we should remember, go in line with most of the theory and literature we have on wisdom, which suggests more or specifically more information and more engagement is better. So if you're focusing on from the first point that I said the first day I came here to defend my proposal, is less better, at least sometimes, and when? And we are getting there in documented way, which is nice. So where else should it go? At the moment, we are putting wisdom at work. Practical wisdom goes to work because we also do lots of medical decision-making research there. And so we can get the wealth of information that they have there and relate it to our construct. The next one that I'm personally very much involved in is financial decision-making, how that can be made wiser, especially now that we have a critical situation. And that's when wisdom is meaningful, when you have a crisis. And finally, our next plan is to figure out intuition and how it comes into work. Maybe automatic is not all that configures intuitive responses, that intuition has been built based on a wealth of prior training, experience, learning. And that's why it is valuable and useful, not because it's fast and it comes through so easily. Thank you.